Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Damn. What is going on, chat? Yo, how can we hear me? Am I echoing? It's weird on my testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. I think we're Gucci. Testing 1 2 3. All right, we're Gucci. I gotta make sure I have it set up for Harrison for TikTok to be able to hear Harrison. I think it is set up like that. All right, chat. How we doing, baby? How we doing? Bears victory Wednesday, chat. It's a Bears victory Wednesday. We're gonna ride out this dub against the Commanders all week long. Yo, Yvonne. Yo, what's good, Colin? Colin says better wide receiver, Rome or Jay Jettis? Jay Jettis, of course, brother. Jay Jettis, of course. Make sure you guys don't. That's just not even there yet, bro. Jay Jettis is probably the best wide receiver in the league, my guy. Hopefully, Rome can get there one day, though. Hopefully, Rome can be in that convo, in that photo. The Bears beat the Washington Commanders on Monday night, chat. What a freaking win. An exciting roller coaster win that was, chat. That was crazy. That was crazy. So we have a fun stream planned here. I'm going to be going through a little bit of NFL Bears Twitter, get some talking points for us, and then I will we're going to have our guest of the week, our boy Harrison Graham, NFL. And it's going to be a great freaking stream, chat. It's going to be a great stream here. Testing audio 1 2 3. Let me put this on the story real quick, chat. Let me get us on the story. A little story promo. Little story promo. How we doing? No says the Bears are back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, baby. Bears are back. How we feeling after that win, chat? How we feeling after that Commanders dub, chat? How we feeling, baby? Bears Nation. I got Justin Field. Oh, you said what, Colin? I'm doing a Browns franchise on Madden. I haven't played Manning in forever. Yvonne says he's amazing. Yes, yes. What impressed you guys the most Monday night against the Commanders? Who or what group impressed you the most on Monday night against the Commanders in that big time win? Hail Mary rematch, chat. The Bears are 3-2, not looking too far ahead on the schedule, but we got the Saints at home. We need to get that dub. Let's not sleep on the Saints. And then we got some winnable games in the next few games here, chat. The Bears can go on a run. The Bears can go on a run, knock on wood. But how do we feel about that Bears win. Who impressed you the most Monday night? Let me just get a quick story promo here. Get a little story promo. I'm just catching up on some updates. Chat, can you guys hear me okay? DeAndre Swift. Facts, Yvonne. DeAndre Swift had a hell of a game. We'll talk about a little bit about that in a couple minutes when I go through some things I bookmarked on Twitter. But yeah, DeAndre Swift ate Monday night. Chat. Yo, Yvonne, I appreciate that. He ate for sure. Just doing a quick selfie promo here, chat. That was kind of zesty, but it's all good. Chat. Bear down, baby. Tune shy. We're just talking about the game a little bit. I'm just doing a quick story promo. What's good, Machine? I appreciate you tuning in. Colin says, no, watch them lose the Saints. It seems like the Bears. It seems like the most. I wouldn't be surprised, Colin, but hopefully not. POV chat. POV positive only vibes Sunday against the Saints. I'm just quickly. Find the live stream and talk Bears. Okay, cool. All right, here, chat. Bear down, baby. Yo, user, I appreciate that follow. Let me get a score prediction for Sunday, Unk. Ooh, score predictions are ready. We're going to talk a little bit about the Bears and Saints with our boy Harrison coming on here in the next 30 minutes. But score prediction, not even thinking about it too hard. Score prediction against the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to do 31-17. 31-17 Chicago Bears. Official score prediction. Didn't even look ahead to that game yet. Still soaking up this Commanders win. But just for Tune Shy, 31-17 Chicago Bears win. Clip it and ship it, baby. Let's go. Do you know Harrison, the one that you're going to talk to later, has a YouTube channel called Bears Now? Yeah. I do know about his channel. No, are you a fan? Yo, William, I appreciate that gift on TikTok, brother. I appreciate that gift so much. Thanks for the love and support. Appreciate everyone tuning into the stream. If you haven't done so already, chat, hit that follow button. This is Bear Down and Beyond. We have a lot of fun watching our Bears. We do live stream watch parties, Sweat the Bet watch parties. We do our Bear Down breakdown on a weekly basis. We bring in guests, whether it's other Chicago Bears creators, opposing team creators. A lot of fun. We don't take ourselves too serious here. We just love cheering on our Bears. I'm just a crazy Bears fan talking shit online. But drop that follow. We'll be having our live stream watch party Sunday against the Saints at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm in New York, chat. So hopefully you guys can continue joining into future live streams. We can't let this momentum enter the Saints the night before playing Lamar. Yeah, that's a fact, user. Lamar's probably going to be back by the time we play the Bears, unfortunately. Belt to ass only Saints. I feel you there, user. 100%, brother. I said Chicago Bears 50, Saints 0, Williams. Hey, I'm not opposed, brother. I would love that. I got some Bears on my fantasy team. Tune Shy says 31-17. I love it. Let's get it. Yeah, I guess that's my official score prediction. You helping with fantasy at all? Ava, I can try. To help with fantasy. If the Lions, Vikings, and Packers lose, the Bears will win and go in first place in the NFC North. Right now, yeah, the Lions got, I think I bookmarked. Yo, chat, let's just jump into it. Let's jump into it a little bit here, chat. I want to talk a little bit about some things. There's a few things that I bookmarked here, chat, that I want to talk about. So no, I think the Lions have 4 wins, right? All the other teams in the NFC North have 3 wins, but they're all above 500. So it's going to be a nail biter towards going throughout the whole season here. Brendan says Saquon for Waddle and Tyler Warren or Swift for Olave. I wouldn't do Swift for Olave. Saquon for Waddle. I mean, do you have backup running backs, Brendan? All right, what about Rice? Rashid Rice, Sutton, Debo, Terry. Pick 2. I have Kyron Bijan and Judd can start in non-PPR. Oh, the rookie mistake. You're not even in a PPR. I would put Rashid Rice in. And is Terry healthy? And who's Sutton playing? Who's Sutton and Debo playing? Rashid Rice is a lock. So I'm a Chicago Bears fan. My best friend, he's a Saints fan. And my friend Chris, we got... Yeah, that's going to be a fun Sunday then for you guys, William. You don't want to overpay. Are you talking about a trade or waivers? Waivers were today in my league in the morning, chat. All right, chat, we got about 15 minutes till Harrison joins. Let's scroll on some Bears NFL Twitter. I had some things here that I had noted. Leading rushers, chat. The leading rushers among the first-year players in 2025. Oh. It's interesting, chat. That's interesting. Not much to talk about. We don't have any investment. Ashton Genty, as these two should be leading the pack. Amora and Hampton would be at the top of that, but he got hurt. I did bookmark some stuff, chat. Let's talk about that Bears versus Commanders win, chat. How we feeling? How we feeling after the Bears beating the Washington Commanders? Let's talk about it a little bit. I'm gonna start that off, chat. I'm gonna start that off after Harrison. Let's look at this. The Patriots, Bears, Steelers, and Broncos are tied for the longest active winning streak. Bears are on a 3-game win streak. The Patriots on a 3-game win streak. The Steelers and the Broncos. These 4 teams were really kind of undervalued and underrated going into the beginning of the season, right? The Broncos had a lot of hype because, respectfully, they got into the playoffs last season as a wild card, and then they have a really good defense. People were 50-50 on Drake May. Obviously, we know all the noise around Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears, and the offseason drama with the Pittsburgh Steelers finally signing Aaron Rodgers. But these teams are off to a good start. What streak lasts the longest? I know the Bears play the Saints this week. I'm not too sure who the Patriots, the Steelers, and the Broncos play. I don't know at the top of my head. I think the Steelers play the Bengals Thursday night or the Browns. I think it's the Bengals. So, very interesting graphic here. 3-game winning streak. Which one of these 4 teams goes on a longer win streak, chat? Put your thoughts in the comments. Patriots, Bears, Steelers, Broncos. Pretty solid group of teams that were undervalued, underrated going into the beginning of the season. Obviously, the AFC North is cooked with a lot of injuries, so the Steelers are at the top of that. But love to get your comments, chat. Let's twist this graphic up a little bit. Which one of these 4 teams continues their win streak post week 7? Put your thoughts in the comments. Alexis says, I think we should never hear or talk about the Hail Mary pass ever again. Yeah, we nipped that one in the butt. I'm pretty sure that's a good point. I think we're done talking about the Hail Mary. Now is going to be the game-winning field goal. But I don't know if it's just me, but the Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams rivalry, that's a thing for me. Second in line to the NFC North rivalries that we have. But I love the matchups that that's going to be a game every year, chat. Jaden Daniels versus Caleb Williams. It's going to be a thing. First number 1 pick versus second overall pick. The Hail Mary drama that we had last year. The game-winning field goal that we had this year. Epic endings. It is going to be a thing. We're going to see that game every year, just like Brady versus Manning, Mahomes versus Allen, Mahomes versus Lamar, Allen versus Lamar. Like, it's going to be a annual regular season matchup and hopefully postseason matchup for the years to come, and I'm all here for it. It's tied 1-1. I consider the Commanders a little bit of a rivalry. There's some bitter taste between those fan bases, the two starting quarterbacks, and I'm all here for it. We got the last win with that amazing win on Monday Night Football, game-winning field goal, but I think the Hail Mary is a little bit in the past now. Now it's about them being tied up 1-1 and a game-winning field goal being the latest win now biter. But put your thoughts in the comments, chat. Is this kind of a rivalry for you? Is the Hail Mary discussion over with? Are you looking for are you looking forward to future matchups between Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels? I sure am, but put your thoughts in the comments, chat. Jets should have been on the photo. You think the Jets should be on? I mean, they should have won a few games this year, Clint. That's a fact, brother. 2 of those 4 teams will miss the playoffs. Which 2 of these 4 teams do you think is going to miss the playoffs, Matt? That's interesting. Rivalry for sure now 1-1, and everyone around me is a Washington fan, so that felt good. That's dope, bro. That's dope. So if you say Eastern Standard Time and we're in Central, does that mean us? Yeah, no. So right now it is 2:46 p.m. right now Eastern Standard Time. I'm an hour ahead of you guys. So you guys are 1:46. All my times, I will try to clarify that multiple times in a single post or a caption, but I'm always Eastern Standard Time. Pats and Bears. You don't think the Pats and Bears make the playoffs in this graphic, Matt? Damn, bro. I think the Steelers win that division, considering the injuries going on right now. The Broncos, they got a tough division with the Chargers and the Chiefs in the AFC, but I don't know. Maybe, nah, I think all 4 of these teams, me being biased, make the playoffs on this graphic. Why is everyone picking the Saints to win? They really don't like us, El Papa. Well, from a Vegas standpoint, short week, dramatic win on the road. Like, in terms of Vegas point of view and sports betting wise, people are going to bet the Saints, at least to cover the spread. In terms of just a general take, I really don't know. I haven't seen anything that yet. Could just be haters. It could people really think that the Bears are looking ahead to the next game or whatnot, looking just kind of skipping over the Saints. They just had a huge emotional win on the road, short week, Monday Night Football. So I don't know. I haven't really seen too much analysts so far on the people picking their predictions for next week already, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yo, El Papa, I appreciate those gifts. I appreciate those gifts, brother. I appreciate all the love and support people are showing right now, chat. Pittman or Evans? Isn't Evans hurt, bro? I appreciate those 39 GGs, brother. I appreciate the love and support, my guy. Also, bear down. Otto says, bear the fuck down, brother. Baker or May this week? What are the matchups, Otto? Who are they playing? You think Chicago Bears can win 5 games in a row? I sure hope so, William. I sure hope so. With Lamar coming back, probably not. And them being so desperate, I don't think we're going to win that Ravens game. But definitely winnable games. We got the Saints, Ravens, Bengals, which I will be at that game. And then the Giants, which I'm not going to sleep on the Giants right now. Jackson Dart and company are playing, and Cam Scatterbo are playing hard. They got a solid defensive front with those Giants. So not looking too far ahead, but we got the Saints coming up here. We need to get that win. Should be an easy win. Build off that momentum, but we'll have to see. Baker, Detroit, May, Tennessee. I think Tennessee has a stingy defense a little bit. I would go with Baker against Detroit. Is that at the Dome? That's going to be a higher scoring game. The only team I'm worried about is the Ravens. Yeah, especially if they have Lamar. Da Bears, Dano says, I appreciate everyone tuning in. If you haven't done so already, chat, hit that like button. Hit that like button for me, por favor. Let's continue going through some things that I bookmarked. All right, chat, I saw this and it was super interesting. The Bears have scored at least 21 points in each of their first 5 games, making the first time that has taken place in 30 years. I'm 30, wasn't alive then, don't have a take on that. However, Chicago ranks 10th in scoring at 25.2 points per game. It's top mark since 2018. That was the Matt Nagy double doink year. Ben Johnson has his offense producing already with plenty of room still to improve, chat. Just think about this. I'm not sure how old of y'all are in the chat, but we haven't seen an offense like this in a very long time. I think the number in 2018 is a little fluctuated because our defense scored so many points that year. However, the last time we've seen an offense like this had to been like the Mark Trestman era, right? That first year of Mark Trestman. I know he was a shitty head coach, but his offenses weren't too bad when we had Alshon Jeffrey, Brandon Marshall, Martellus Bennett. That era of Chicago Bears football, Jay Cutler slinging it. I remember we were top in offense before Cutler got hurt and Alshon got hurt and a few key injuries before we were like 7-2. But this team is humming. This offense is humming. They're getting into rhythm, and just like Chris Emma said, there is still so much more potential to level up this offense because we just started establishing run game. We just reshuffled the offensive line that looked really good against the offensive Commanders. Caleb Williams is still adjusting and developing and progressing in this offense. We still haven't really seen Colston Loveland or the tight ends involved that much. Luther Burden is just getting in there. Kyle Monunga is just getting more and more productive with the limited touches that he's getting. The penalties, we still getting some penalties on the offensive side of the ball that sets us back a little bit. So there's still another level, another couple notches for this offense to continue humming and even scoring more points and having more success. It's only 5 weeks into the season for the Bears. They've only played 5 games, but I'm super excited. We haven't seen an offense like this in over 10 years. I want to say the Mark Trestman era, but put your thoughts in the comments. How are you feeling about the Chicago Bears offense right now? And there's still plenty of room for growth. Put your thoughts in the comments, chat. Austin Booker need to come back ASAP. Our D-line is horrible. Yeah, we really can't pressure the quarterback, brother. We are having a problem pressuring the quarterback. That's a fact. Slatty Pat says, bear down, baby. Bear down. We're just going through some Bears, Chicago Bears Twitter talk. Chicago Bears have a top 10 offense. We talked about that a little bit. All right, chat. Let's talk about Caleb Williams a little bit versus the Wash. Oh, no. Let's just talk about Caleb Williams' season so far. Need a little water break. Yo, I appreciate that like, Ian. I appreciate that like, brother. We have about 5 or so minutes before Harrison jumps on. But chat, here's Caleb Williams so far in the 2025 season. Caleb Williams is on pace for 4,000 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 61.6 completion percentage, a 98 quarterback rating, 643 rushing yards, and 7 rushing touchdowns. This graphic is from our boy Nick at J Chicago Bears. I don't know about you, but I'll be pretty darn happy with that outcome. Chat. Caleb Williams is still learning and growing in this offense. He's come a long way since week 1 to week 2. We shared our thoughts after that Vikings and Lions game. But he is really gelling and really finding his groove in this offense. I know there's a bunch of Bears fans that are just held up on this 4,000-yard passing stat. Caleb Williams needs to hit that. For me, at the end of the day, it's wins, losses. I could really care less about that 4,000-yard passing stat. It's win, losses, turnovers, and sacks for me, in my personal opinion. What I saw last night, Caleb Williams, let's be honest, he did not play amazing against the Washington Commanders the other night, right? He played well enough to win that game. And some Bears fans are going to get sensitive about that. Any little constructive critique that you say about Caleb Williams, they get so salty about it. Just like how we used to talk about Justin Fields and his constructive feedback that we used to give him. But the one thing that I noticed Monday night that I didn't notice in week 1 and 2 with Caleb Williams, I don't care about the 4,000-yard passing stats. That man took that offense and he was so locked in. He was so confident in that game, especially towards the end when he needed to do that game-winning drive. I felt confident in him. I don't care about the stats. I know he didn't play the best statistically on paper, but that kid locked the fuck in, and we didn't see that really week 1 and week 2. He was pissed off in the sideline. He was taking shit personal, and that's what I want to fucking see from Caleb Williams. You saw him smiling a little bit against that Vikings game and that Lions game on the sideline. I didn't like his body language and his demeanor there. Against the Commanders, that's what I want to freaking see. And I had never felt this in my whole time as a Chicago Bears fan. when Caleb Williams has the ball in the fourth quarter, I'm not really stressing it. I am not stressing it, to be honest. I feel so confident that he's going to do what he needs to do that's the first time I've ever felt like that in a Chicago Bears quarterback in my entire freaking life. So I don't care about he didn't play the stats on Monday night or if he gets 4,000 passing yards. I want wins and no turnovers, and I want him to freaking take the offense by charge, lead game-winning drives. We saw this last year, but his coaches and his kickers failed him. I was more worried about the kickers on Monday night than I was about Caleb Williams. I knew he was going to take that offense with a short field, drive that offense down the field, and put them in position to win. We've seen that so many times in his early career dating back to last season. So the big difference I seen compared to week 1, week 2 to now was the confidence, the demeanor, the poise in the pocket. I don't care about the stats. He got the freaking win. He led that team down the field in a game-winning drive, put him in field goal range to kick that game-winning field goal. Caleb Williams got that aura. He's got that moxie. We've seen that throughout different spurts of last season when he led multiple potential game-winning drives, but the kicker or the head coach failed him. But that's what I want to see. I don't care about the 4,000-yard stats at the end of the year. I want to see wins, losses, make sure he's not turning the ball over, and that confidence, that development, that growth, that moxie that we saw him on Monday night. I don't know if you guys saw on the sideline. He was locked the fuck in. He was getting pissed. Remember week 1, week 2? He was kind of smiling and stuff. No, he was locked the fuck in, taking that offense by storm, and I had all the confidence in the world. I'm not going to lie. So first time as a Chicago Bears fan that I wasn't worried about us coming back. This must be how Chiefs and Bills fans and Ravens fans and Packers fans feel, because I had confidence Caleb Williams Monday night leading that team to a game-winning drive. It was a kicker I was more worried about. But put your thoughts in the comments. Are you really worried about Caleb Williams' stats at the end of the year? What do you care about the most? I just want win-losses, growth, and not sacks and not interceptions. That's what's important for me. I know there's a lot of people saying Caleb Williams on pace for 4,000 passing yards. I could care less. Give me wins, give me losses, and give me confidence that you're going to have an opportunity to win the game every single week, chat. Yo, Joe, I appreciate that follow on the TikTok, brother. Bear down from Chicago Bears fan and Kaylee. Yes, Fernie, what's going on, my brother? How are you doing, bro? Dude, everyone, when Jaden does something wrong, they just pound him with hate and just sophomore slump. They just have high expectations for Jaden, brother. They have high expectations. They had a crazy rookie year. He got a little bit hurt throughout this season. Things are kind of slowing, like not as getting where it wants to be. It's just a little bit slower start to the season. It's gonna happen. We saw it with CJ Stroud. When will you talk to Harrison? No, Harrison should be joining us in the next few minutes. Actually, he's just tuning in, chat, right now, chat. So we will resume our Bears Twitter talk after our chat with Harrison. Let me get this set up. He's only got 20 to 30 minutes with us. So how do I send a super chat? Beatram, I don't even know if I have that set up. I really appreciate you. I do need to set that up. I don't even know if I qualify for that, but once I have it, I would love to. I would appreciate that support. I would appreciate that support tons. Let me get Harrison set up here, chat. Harrison, can you hear me? How are you doing? Wait, where are you? Where's your audio coming from? Can you hear me? Weird. Give me a second. Oh, I identified it. Yep, perfect. Yes, yes. Let me just test the other streams. Give me a test in 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. I just gotta add your video, and then we're good to go. Can you give me one for the YouTube? I'm just doing a sound check. Give me 1 sec. I still gotta add your video here. Sorry, one man band guest camera. So we have Give me a test in 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 1 2 1 2. Voice is struggling today, but we're fighting through. Bears Saints coming up on Sunday.
All right, chat. Can you guys hear Harrison? Give me a thumbs up in the chat. In the meantime, I'm gonna
FGB's in the chat if you got me.
right. Let me just reset my recording here. Sorry, I need an intern or something. Give me one last test.
You're good. 1 2 1 2. Trying to get this through. It set for me. It says the audio's bouncing. So.
I think Colin says F Green Bay. He's a Vikings fan too. So all right. Harrison, appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate your time. Friend of the program. It's been a while. First of all, how have you been?
Good. I was trying to think when we talked last time when that was and what we were talking. Was it after they hired Ben Johnson? I can't remember now. It's been a while.
It was like it had to have been after. It was definitely free agency time that we were chatting. Free agency draft time. It was definitely that point of time, but super excited to have you back on the program. Obviously, a lot of stuff to talk about. Bears beat the Commanders Monday Night Football. How are you feeling? Huge game. I feel like it's kind of like a rivalry for me. We're talking a little bit about the chat, the whole Jaden versus Caleb Hail Mary rematch. But how are you feeling after that Commanders game and some of your initial thoughts?
My initial thought when it went in was honestly relief. It was a very, very frustrating game to watch for a lot of reasons. The officiating was poor. Regardless of who you're a fan of, you don't want to watch a game with a lot of flags. I didn't. That wasn't enjoyable. We knew that was the storyline coming in. They were the most thrown penalty flag crew in the NFL, but I thought they battled, got through the adversity. They've won 2 games in a row that I don't think they would have won before. So I think you got to feel good about that. Are they firing on all cylinders? No, but they found some solutions in the run game during the bye week, it would appear, both offensively and defensively. I thought they did a pretty good job of containing Washington's run too, and they've been one of the most potent rushing attacks in the NFL. So I feel pretty good. I mean, the fun part about it, and Ben said this, I think, yesterday, is they aren't playing close to their best ball, at least what they believe. And I agree with him. And they're still finding ways to win games. And this one in particular against a quality opponent. So it's exciting. Got to turn the page. The Saints they're a pretty scrappy team. They've been in a lot of their games. They're only 1-5. It's a team you should beat, but it's also a team, if you overlook them, you could be in trouble late in the game. So if they can get this one, then you really might have something to get excited about moving forward for this season.
Yeah, I think you touched on a couple really good points there about the Commanders game, right? That run defense, that was my biggest worry going into that game. I think the 2 biggest weaknesses on this team is our run defense and rushing the passer of the opposing team, and our run game offensively. And that looked really good on the offensive side of the ball. But who or what impressed you the most with that Commanders win?
I think really just the coaching staff to find those solutions. You could point to certain players. I thought Darnell Wright had a hell of a game. I mean, he's playing with a bad elbow, and he's just having to tough it out. I thought that was his best game of the season. They really leaned on him late in the game, running behind him. He blocks a couple of guys to spring Swift loose to make it a much more manageable field goal for Jake Moody. Obviously, Jake Moody impressed me to step up and have the game he did. Theo Benedict seems like a clear upgrade at left tackle, at least for one game. I don't know if he's the long-term answer, but I think for this season, if he plays around that level, you can live with that. But yeah, this team was just not the run game just wasn't working. I don't think it was one thing. I think just the timing was off with it. The blocks weren't being timed up, and it seemed like they leaned more on the outside zone running game, running behind the tackles more, which with the personnel you have, especially with Swift as a runner and both these tackles, which I think part of that is switching to Benedict, being athletic in space, I just think you're more built to run more outside zone with what you currently have. So I think that's a good adjustment they found. And clearly getting TJ Edwards back made a huge difference stopping the run. I thought he had a great game. He was shooting the gaps. Defensive line play better too. Still not great, but from bad to okay is an improvement. So, yeah, I mean, I think they had some key guys step up, but I think just schematically and game plan wise, it was a pretty smart plan with those adjustments.
Yeah, I think 2 out of the 3, concerns I had going into the game, they address, and I just hope they continue building upon that with the running game, stopping the run, and rushing the quarterback. I think Dennis Allen did get a little bit creative with having Kyler Gordon back in terms of I saw a lot of blitz, and I love that. I think the whole not just the whole team, but the defense specifically played so well as a unit. They were getting to the ball, they were aggressive, they were playing hard. And I really love the fact that we were able to stop the run. I'm hoping that we can continue seeing that. Do you think it was like a TJ Edwards that was what was missing the first couple of weeks of the season, or why do you think they had so much success stopping the run against an offense that is one of the best in the league at running the ball?
I thought the run lane integrity from the front was pretty good. Early in the game, they ran a couple of those zone read keepers with Jaden, and he did not get loose on those. I thought Montez probably had his best game of the year as well. Is he living up to the contract? No, but if he can play more like he did on Sunday, that's a plus player, which at this point I think is all you can really hope for. I don't think he's going to be dominant by any means, but I thought his setting the edge integrity was there. I thought Andrew Billings played pretty well with Grady Jarrett out. He played quite a bit, and the one thing throughout his career he's been pretty good at is stopping the run. So I do think the front played better from a run defensive standpoint. I think the lane integrity was more sound, and they kept Tremaine Edmonds at will linebacker, which is where he's been playing with Noah Sewell at middle. And TJ played middle. I think that is the formula moving forward. In the prior scheme, that was flipped. They viewed Tremaine Edmonds as like when they signed him as a Brian Urlacher, he could do it all type, big body, he can cover, and he can still do some of that, but he's just played better on the weak side this year. And that's another guy that has not lived up to his contract, but this year he's playing better. So I would keep that the same moving forward. So in one game, have they all of a sudden become a really good running team and a really good run defensive team? It's hard to say. I mean, we'll see moving forward, but I do think they found some solutions that should be able to carry over to future opponents.
Yeah, and I know you watched probably the film a little bit more critical than we do here, but on the opposite side of the ball, why do you think they had so much success running the ball against the Commanders? It's not a bad defense by any means. There was probably one change, and that was Theo Benedict at the left tackle and Darnell Wright coming back at right tackle. Why do you think they had so much success running the ball? Was it personnel change, you think? Was it just kind of 5 games in, all right, we got something clicking, or what were your initial thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I think they committed to being a more outside run zone running team. And to simplify that without getting into the crazy X's and O's, that's leaning on your offensive linemen being athletic and running outside the tackles. And both Theo and Darnell's always been really athletic, and Theo is much more athletic than this version of Braxton Jones coming off the ankle injury. So you saw a lot of the toss crack where you're tossing the ball, sometimes a guard pulls, and the left or right tackles getting to the second level. A great example of that was the final run by Swift where Darnell gets out in space. He kind of just, with his left arm, just stiff arms a guy to create that lane, and then he blocks another guy downfield. And instead of that being a 4 or 5 yard run, it's like a 13-yard run, which, again, makes it a 37, 38-yard field goal instead of, a 47, 48-yard field goal, which wet, rainy, windy, backup kicker, it's a big difference. Like getting inside of 40 in that spot is critical. So, I just think they leaned on running behind those tackles more. And, Drew Dahlman is a much better run blocking center when you use his athleticism. If you run more gap skiing in between the tackles, typically you want more brawlers. And Jonah Jackson's really your only true like brawling interior offensive lineman, but he's athletic enough. So I think just shifting to more outside zone, just utilizing athleticism in space, and especially the way Swift runs, we know he's at his best when he's out in space. He's not a between the tackles run, wear down a defense type of runner. I did think he had a few physical runs, which is nice to see, but that's not really who he is. So, if this is the running back crew and him being the lead back they're going to roll with this year, I think they kind of leaned into that on Monday night. So we'll see if that continues.
Yeah, and how are you feeling about Caleb throughout the first few games of the season? A dramatic difference from week 1 to week 2 compared to the last couple of games, and learning and growing and developing in Ben Johnson's offense. On paper, Monday night, he didn't have the greatest game, missed a couple throws, but how are you feeling overall? And then anything specific you might have noticed against the Commanders?
Yeah, I feel good. There's a lot of, and this is just the social media era we live in, and the spreadsheet era we live in, and a lot of that's valid. Some of it I think is overblown. We overanalyze every little detail, right? There are still accuracy issues that pop up in every game, some more than others. I would say there's around a handful of throws every week that there's some accuracy things that pop up. Typically, those are footwork related, which is why I'm still very optimistic about that, because if he continues to grow with his footwork, which he has made big improvements in that area this year, but there's still room to grow, then I think the accuracy just over time will naturally increase. And I think sometimes he just leans on his arm talent. Like that throw to Luther Burden, not good footwork, but he's got such a rocket launcher of an arm. And you love that he has that in the toolbox. But the next step is just, in general, is just squaring the shoulders and delivering a strike more consistently. So that's my main concern right now. And the reason I don't think it's a major concern is because I've already seen growth in that area. And if he does clean up the foot stuff and tie his eyes with his feet and deliver the football, then he's going to be more consistent there. So I see a more confident quarterback. I see a coach who is schematically just dialing things up pretty consistently. I mean, Ben Johnson, we knew he was a hell of a play caller, but like he is really good. The only call I didn't like all night was the 4th and 1, a straight drop back play action. I don't mind throwing there, but I think run a hard boot, get Caleb on the edge where he has the option to potentially run if something frees up. But other than that, I thought Ben called a great game. So is Caleb fully developed? No. Does he still have a long way to go? Yes. But I think you're seeing strides. And here's what I'll point out too to your audience is the accuracy is hovering around 62%. You'd like to be that 65, 66. I know they set the goal of 70. I think that was always unrealistic this year. But where they're making up for that is explosive plays. Caleb Williams and this Bears offense have hit a lot of 20-plus yard passes this year. And so, yeah, you're missing a few a game, but if you're generating explosives, that's where you can really open things up and score a lot of points in this league when you're getting 20, 30, 40 yard chunks. And they've had a lot of those this year, and they would have had another one if Olamide Zaccheaus didn't drop that one ball. And my first thought on that play was drop aside is if that's Luther Burden, I think that's a house call. And so I hope that Luther Burden, who on a limited snap count popped multiple times in that game, I'm looking for his workload to increase.
Yeah, well, hopefully DJ Moore plays, and hopefully he recovers quickly. However, if he is out, it's an opportunity for Luther Burden to get some more reps, some more targets, and prove why he was a second round pick. Going back to Caleb a little bit here, Harrison. I know on paper he didn't have the best game Monday night, but it was just something different about his energy, kind of his moxie when they were shooting to him on the sideline that I didn't notice in the first couple games that made me feel so confident in him on Monday night. I don't know if it's just me or like were you, but like when he was on the sideline getting pissed off, he wasn't happy. Like that's what I've kind of wanted to see from him over the last, I guess, this season. And in the first couple of games, we didn't see it. We saw him smiling and stuff, but I don't know if it was personal because he was in Washington. It was Jaden, but that's what I want to see consistently. And I haven't been so confident in a must needed drive from our quarterback in my whole lifetime as the Chicago Bears. We saw it throughout different courses of games last year with just the kicker or the head coach failed him. But the way I have the most confidence in Caleb. If there's one drive and we need to get it, he'll put us in a position to win, whether our kickers do it or not. Luckily, Jake Moody did it Monday night. But I don't know if you noticed that for me, like when I saw him go on the field, I was not stressed at all from our quarterback getting us in position. The kicker was a different story. Like, is that how Chiefs fans or Bills fans or Ravens fans, did you notice that, or did you feel that
Yeah.
as a fan when he was getting on the field that last drive?
Well, that and to the sideline stuff, the haters will call that bad attitude. I call it competitive fire.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference. Because last year there were body language issues, and it felt like, especially as the losing streak went on, that at times maybe he just not would check out, but he's just like, oh, here we go again. We got no chance of winning. Like in that game, the one time when he really got fired up on the sideline was after that snap thing where I don't know if the snap was supposed to be snapped. It was kind of high and outside. He didn't squeeze it. A multitude of issues, and he was fired up about it because that was a critical play. It was 3rd and 1. They ended up kicking a field goal and it got blocked. So that was a huge moment in the game, and he was pissed off about that. And I'm like, that shows me he's got a fire to him. Like he wants to win. And what's funny about him coming out? I don't think anyone would have thought this. Living in Hollywood, playing at USC, he's pretty gritty. I mean, he showed last year his toughness, playing all 17 games, getting sacked 68 times. But his jersey by the end of this game, it's got grass stains everywhere. Like the competitive character is definitely there with him. And I've said this. I said it last year. I said it after the Raiders game. I said it again the other night. He is a clutch player. To your point, there were times last year where game-winning drives got taken away from him for a variety of issues, whether your coach is settling for too long of a field goal, whether you're giving up a Hail Mary, whether you're forgetting to call a timeout. But he, more often than not, in those situations, put the Bears in position to win, and he's already done it twice this year. A long drive to beat the Raiders, and then the other night only had to make a couple of throws. They leaned on the run game, but clutch 3rd and 5, throws it quick to Colston Loveland, identifies the matchup, moves the chains. Like he's very calm in those situations. Doesn't mean he's always going to deliver every time in his career in those spots. It's just not going to happen. But he seems to rise to the occasion. He seems to be a spotlight big game player. And, that gets me excited because if he can just get a little bit more consistent, which I expect him to, I think the Bears could have something really special here.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. I think there was an article earlier last week or after the Raiders game where most quarterbacks that get nervous, their heart rate is pounding. I don't know if it was like Brad Biggs or even it was a quote from Ben Johnson. But in that moment, Caleb just kind of calms and zens and like just takes on the moment and the opportunity. Before we get into the Saints and Bears game here a little bit, trade deadline's coming up. A lot of talk before the Commanders game that the Bears need to trade for a running back or whatever the case may be. I think after that game, I'm not so much on the running back. I think we could continue building upon that. But do you think the Chicago Bears would? Is it a possibility that they make a trade? I'm more of in get someone on the defensive line, rush the quarterback, but I don't know how realistic that is. But what are your thoughts?
Quick thoughts on the running back thing. I do think now, I want to see a couple more weeks. Like, did they find something sustainable? Was it a one-off? So I think that's one. You give it a couple more sample sizes here, and then revisit that in a few weeks. If it regresses back, then maybe it's something you consider. If it's more of what you saw in Washington, I think at least for this year, you can get by with what you have. I'm with you. If I'm making one move, I'm looking for some kind of pass rush help. Now, whether it's a big name or whether just a guy to throw into a rotation, that remains to be seen. Hopefully Austin Booker plays this week and we get a couple of games of him before the deadline, so you kind of get a feel for what kind of role he could have. Because if he comes in and plays the next 3 games before the deadline and has an impact, then maybe you just kind of stand pat there. So that could be an X factor as well. But I think the biggest weakness on this team is the inability to rush the passer. It was a little bit better the other night, but it's just not nearly consistent enough. Dominique Robinson is second on the team with 1.5 sacks. That it just can't happen. I mean, most of us said he's not going to make this team, and he's second on the team in sacks. A bunch of guys have 1. Javon Dexter had 1.5 the other night. He's got 2.5 this year, so he continues to flash. It's not quite game-to-game consistent, but I like what I'm seeing from him. But yeah, you just don't have that one guy, and I don't know if you're going to find that one guy, but at least if you can add someone else into the mix. To bring in on third downs and give you a shot to get home. I think that's something I'd be very interested in, depending on the cost, of course.
Yeah, a dream scenario would be like a Max Crosby. I think Trey Hendrickson is a little bit too old to invest too much capital in that contract. I don't know if it's possible. Like, can we trade Montez Sweat away with the package? I would rather, because that's double the cap space. I mean,
if you go after one of these big name contract guys, you're going to have to move some money around. So whether that's flipping Sweat in a separate trade or if the team trading you their guy takes him back, I don't know why they'd take back Sweat if they're trading you their best pass rusher. So you'd probably have to flip him in a separate deal. You could restructure one of your major contracts, but then you're kicking money down the road. So it's a tough one. That's why I kind of wonder, do they kind of get into this like tier 2, tier 3 market and get like a, just throw a name out there. I saw like Calais Campbell, who's like 38 years old, but he's still pretty good. 20, 25 snaps a game, veteran. He could bring some experience in here. Position flex. He can kick inside a little bit as well. Like, do you trade like a 6th-round pick to Arizona for someone like that to just help you down the stretch? Maybe that's more the type of move that you do, but we'll see. I think the next couple of weeks will dictate a lot. How do they play? How does the D-line look? Do they win the next couple games? And then they'll go from there. I don't think a move would come this week. So, you beat the Saints, get to 4-2. Maybe you start to hear more of that chatter.
Yeah, good lead into the next topic here before we let you go is Saints versus Bears matchup. Talk a little about injuries first. Any noticeable injuries for either the Saints or the Bears? I know we got DJ Moore and then Sewell that got that concussion in a friendly fire. Cairo Santos. I mean, I know you pay a lot closer attention to some of that stuff than
so.
Than
The first injury reports of the week will come out in the next couple hours. I don't think we have one yet. Obviously, DJ's the one to watch. Grady Jarrett too, though. Is he able to come back this week? Because he was playing through that knee issue, then he missed the Raiders game, and you kind of figured he'd be back after the bye, but he wasn't. So that's an interesting one. I would not expect Noah Sewell on a short week with a concussion to play this week. He'll probably miss this week, but with TJ back, you should be fine there. So yeah, DJ and Grady, the ones to watch. The closer thing to watch for the Saints is a lot of trade buzz around them. I wonder, do they flip Chris Olave? Could that happen before this game? That would certainly be nice if you didn't have to face Chris Olave this week. But yeah, we won't have the full picture at least to start the week until later this afternoon. But I think for the Bears, DJ, Grady, and then Cairo are the ones to watch. And I think with Cairo, it wasn't perfect with Jake Moody. A couple of the kickoffs went for touchbacks. You're not trying to kick touchbacks with the new rule. A couple of his field goals were lower flighted kicks, but I thought he was good enough where I'm probably waiting until Cairo's 100% healthy. Like there's no reason. He already has a weaker leg, so if he has a leg injury, like I think you have to wait till he's 100% to bring him back. So we'll see how they manage that this week. But I thought Moody kicked the ball well enough that you feel okay with him, on a week-to-week basis until Cairo's ready.
Yeah, kicker competition?
I don't think we're there yet, but it's if he let's say he kicks the next 2 weeks and nails some kicks, shows the long range ability with his big leg, it could be a conversation. I don't want to overreact after one game, but I'll say this: long term, you probably need a different kicker. Cairo's getting older. He doesn't have a big leg. He's steady, but there's certain kicks you just can't even try with him, which is frustrating. And so you see kickers across the league, they're trying 58, 59, 61 yarders. You can't even really, beyond 55, you can't even try. And even those low mid 50s, it's like they're crawling over the crossbar. I mean, he's very accurate. He's been the Bears' best kicker in a while. He's much better. I think people treat Cairo Santos like he's a bum. He's a good kicker, but in today's NFL, you really like a stronger legged guy, which Moody does offer that. Can he, continue to get his confidence back and develop? We'll see. For one game, so far pretty good. I thought it looked good.
And how are you feeling going into this game against the Saints? Can the Bears continue this momentum? My biggest worry is, we know the old Bears. They might be looking ahead of this game. They might be kind of just not taking the Saints serious. So how are you feeling about going into this game?
It's a textbook trap game.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional win, short week. Oh, the Saints are back home. We'll roll through them. I will say this. I don't think this coaching staff will allow that type of behavior. I think they'll really harp on that early in the week, if not already. Dennis Allen should be motivated to have a good defensive performance. It's his former team. It's pretty much the same personnel for the Saints offensively. Kelvin Banks is new, the left tackle, but Rattler was the quarterback by the end of last year. It's the same running back pairing. It's the same receiving plan, and the Bears are the better team. So if they come out with the proper intensity and play at least a B-level game, they should win. But the Saints have shown in 4 of their 6 games, they've been one-score games. They crushed the Giants a couple of weeks ago. They played the Bills pretty competitively. Like they're better than I thought. Like they're not a good team per se, but they're not a joke. Like they're a lot better than like the Jets or the Browns or a couple of these other teams. So you come out flat, play poorly, especially early, and they jump on you, like it could be a close game in the fourth quarter. So they better take them seriously because the Saints have been in pretty much every game they've played in except for one.
Yeah, what would you like to see against the Saints? Maybe from the offensive side, defensive side, any particular players?
I'd like to see Caleb have a little bit more of a complete game. I'm certainly not displeased with how he played in Washington. That's a big spot, bad weather. I thought he played well enough to win, but you're coming back home, weaker opponent. I'd like to see a more steady 4-quarter game from him. So I think good opportunity to do that. And then I want to see them build on the run game on both sides of the ball. Can you repeat that performance? If you can do that, I think you feel pretty good, at least for this year, with the group you have, and you can reassess running back in the offseason. But those are the two things. Caleb play a little bit more of a clean game, and then if you can build off the rushing offense and defensive approaches.
Yeah, not even on the agenda, but quickly before we get into bold predictions and score prediction is what's going on with Colston Loveland. I mean, he had a nice catch at the beginning of the game, got called back if I remember correctly, and then just had that one at the end. But how can we not get him involved? We tried to get Cole Kmet involved last week when he was hurt, when Loveland was hurt, couldn't catch the ball. Like, what's going on with the tight ends in this offense?
I think it's a combination of things. I think, one, there's a lot of different weapons in this offense. 2, Ben Johnson played the most 11 personnel he's ever called in a game in his career. So that just meant less snaps for both tight ends in general. And Cole Kmet is still out snapping Colston Loveland. So if you only have one on the field, he's going to be out there more. Now, we can debate whether or not that's smart. Does that flip as the season goes on? We'll see. I am with you. You pick this guy number 10 overall. He needs to be more featured. I like the play in the first half where they split him out wide, run the slant, get him on a smaller corner. He gets called with a ticky-tack OPI, which is total garbage. But I'd like to see Ben find more mismatches like that as the season goes on. So I think we'll see some big performances. It's a little frustrating that it's been slower. The hip injury set it back a little bit, but it's not something I'm panicking about. I think he's going to be fine, but I would certainly like to see him. And like I mentioned earlier, Luther Burden get more opportunities. But, Rome's having a big year. He was a first-round pick last year. He's DJ's on the team. They're not all going to have big games. So it's a good problem to have, but certainly these guys you've invested heavily in should be focal points.
All right, final two here. Let's get a score prediction for Bears versus Saints, Week 7.
I'm gonna go 27-19 Bears. I
That
think
covers
this.
the spread. I got a lot
Yeah, I
of
think
money on this
I,
game.
I have a lot of respect for what Kellen Moore has done. Spencer Rattler's been decent. Not a lot of big plays downfield, only 6 20+ yard completions, but underneath he's pretty accurate in the quick game. Kamara and Kendre Miller's a pretty good running back pairing, and that defensive line's still pretty good. So again, they're kind of one of those scrappy 4 or 5 win teams when you look up at the end of the year. They're certainly not great. They're probably not even good, but they're not one of these bad teams that just folds and is just like has no hope. And you watch the Titans play and you're like, this team is a total joke. Like the Saints are not a joke. They are competitive pretty much every week. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. I think they'll hang around, but I think the Bears will prevail in the second half.
Yeah, hopefully they cover the spread. No particular reason, but bold predictions. So with our guest of the week, we've been asking them bold predictions. We put the actual bet on it, whether it's a parlay or just individual bets. Last week we had Nick from J Chicago Bears. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that page. He thought Caleb was going to get 300 plus passing yards, 3 TDs. The weather had a little bit of impact, but he got DeAndre Swift 65 plus rushing yards. So any bold predictions, could be a couple, whatever you think is bold. That's your definition. But what are you thinking for this game?
Let me see. How about this? Since you just brought him up, Colston Loveland, first career touchdown. He'll find the end zone this week.
I like that one.
And then I will go. So that's one. Let me think of another one. Put me on the spot here. I will go. How about 300 yards and 3 touchdown passes for Caleb?
All right.
Cleaner performance. One of them goes to Loveland. Bigger passing performance in this game.
All right, we're gonna just have to repeat that bet from last week. But I like the Colston. I had him first touchdown scorer in this game. I had a free bonus bet. Thought I had some chance, but same old Chicago Bears kind of a utilization of the tight end since week 1. But I love the touchdown. We're gonna put that in. Harrison, we appreciate your time, brother. It's great catching up with you, talking Bears. Hopefully they can get this win. We hope to have you soon again on the podcast. But appreciate your time. Go Bears, and we'll talk soon.
All right, man. Take care. See you guys.
All right, chat. That was Harrison, friend of the program. A lot of fun talking Bears with Harrison, and super excited that we got to do that. Talk a little bit about that Commanders game. Talk about the upcoming Saints game. But how we feeling, chat? How did you guys like the convo with Harrison? Hayden, what's goody? Justin says Big Harrison. Hayden says Spencer Rattler's about to get rattled back there this Sunday. Hopefully we can pressure the quarterback. Sorry, chat. When we have a guest, I don't necessarily engage in all the questions unless it's like a specific one for Harrison. So I don't think I missed anything. What's good, Fernie? What is good? Harrison Bear down, baby, from the Chicago Bears. Always representing Bears vs. Commanders and Aikman and the refs, right, brother? Cedric, I appreciate that follow on the TikTok. Once we trade for a DN, I believe the Bears will go 11-6. I hope they can go to 11-6, but I don't know if they're going to trade for a DN. Hopefully they do. Traded Dunze for Daniels, have BTJ, Sutton, and Mbuka's hurt, brother. I don't think a Dunze for a running a quarterback is a fair trade direct. Panthers over Jets. Is that who they're playing this week? Chat, is the Panthers playing the Jets? Terrell says, bear down, baby. Hey, I wanted your honest opinion on some plays. Do you think Caleb was trying to do a little too much? No, I think Caleb played just fine. I don't think he was playing too much against the Commanders. When they took that hit before halftime, you guys think the Commanders defender should have gotten past? I don't remember that particular one, Fernie. I know how y'all beat my Cowboys because the Cowboys are cheeks, brother. Trade Shakir Monty for Nico and Nick Chubb. I would definitely get Nico. Parker says, oh, appreciate the follow, Parker. Thoughts on picking up Coker and dropping Bond? I say why not? They're both. I know Coker just coming back from an injury, right? Timothy, I appreciate that follow. Judkins for Hall? No, I'd keep Judkins, brother. Hall might get traded though. We'll love more action from all three rookies and really keep that run game going. Yeah, 100% reuser. Love it for Loveland. Yeah, we're definitely gonna dabble into that. Will be a fun bold prediction sweat. Bears win 45-10. That'd be awesome, Jamie. Pickens K9 for Breeze. If you need a running back, that's not terrible. With CD coming back, not a bad trade if you need a running back, my friend. Chat. Let's go a little bit back into our Bears Twitter talk, and then I'm gonna rip some packs. I think that's everything else on the agenda. Chat, can you guys check out the hotline, please? Can you guys test this out right now? I don't know if my thing is bugged. Yo, Levi, what's good? Can you guys test this out? Give it a call. Leave a testing voicemail. I'm really trying to figure out what's going on in the back end. I'm having some troubles with it. I haven't. When I call, it goes through. But let me know if you guys can give this a little. I was here yesterday. What was yesterday? Today's Wednesday. Today Wednesday or Tuesday? Yeah, what day of the week? It's Wednesday, right? Is one you were here Monday night? Were you on? You're scrolling on the page on the videos yesterday. I appreciate you being here. Chat, can you guys test this? It's our voicemail hotline. You leave a voicemail. I'm really trying to figure out what's going on with that. Would help me out a lot, and then comment in the chat live if it works. All right, chat. Let's get back to. That's plenty of fun. I appreciate you, Harrison. Always love talking ball with Harrison. He analyzes things a little bit deeper than we do. We're not an analyst. We're not an expert. We're just a crazy Bears fan talking shit online. But it's always good to get other people's perspectives who kind of research different things than we do. That's a fact. So we talked a little bit about Caleb here, chat. Any breaking news before we... Let's go here. There's no shot. What? Is that a... Yeah, we gotta talk about this Troy Aikman thing. That's funny though. Whoop-de-doo. I don't get it. Is that... I can't really make a clip on that because I don't even know like what he's referring to. We don't have the commentary up all the way when we have our streams because I'm not trying to get copyright struck. This is very interesting. Zach Pearson says Caleb Williams said he did not meet with Troy Aikman last week prior to the broadcast. He said he reached out and tried to meet with Aikman, but it didn't happen. Mentioned how the schedule didn't line up due to lifting meeting. He called Aikman as well, but he's didn't go through. Troy Aikman's got some beef with Caleb Williams, chat. That's a fact. I don't know if he's a Jaden Boyce fanboy. I don't know if Troy Aikman just doesn't like some of the things that Caleb might just do on his free time, or maybe whatever the case may be. But Troy Aikman obviously has a bone to pick with Caleb Williams. I don't know what it is. This was never a thing before. The Bears been on Monday Night Football a couple times with Caleb, even on the week one. Maybe we don't always hear the commentary chat because we're streaming and I have the volume a little bit low, so it doesn't come through the mic. So I didn't realize all this Troy Aikman hostility, but this is interesting, chat. Does Troy Aikman have beef or have something against Caleb Williams? Put your thoughts in the comments. It looks like it. Caleb tried to be a big person, reach out, admire the great, but Troy Aikman wasn't having it, I guess. All right, let's go through the bookmarks here. There's a few things I wanted to talk about. Chicago, do we have a kicker competition. Jake Moody replaced Cairo Santos Monday night because Cairo had an injury, a late injury that flared up on him going to Washington. Jake Moody's been on the practice squad for a little bit, for a couple weeks now. Jake Moody has had a not such a great career over in San Francisco that led to him getting cut. I remember watching Jake Moody as a 49er a few times because I always picked him up in fantasy. Here and there he had missed field goals, but sometimes with kickers, they get a fresh new place, fresh new start, and they have success. We've seen that with multiple different kickers. But should the Chicago Bears, one game sample size, but should the Chicago Bears keep Jake Moody as a starting kicker when Cairo Santos gets healthy? We talked a little bit about it with Harrison. I just saw a tweet that Ben Johnson confirmed Cairo will be the starter once he's healthy. That blocked field goal Monday night against the Commanders wasn't good for Jake Moody. It was low trajectory. The offensive line kind of got cooked there also, a special teams offensive line. But I need to see more consistency from Jake Moody. We need to see a little bit more sample size, a little bit longer field goals. He came in clutch. He made 4 out of 5 field goals, I believe it was, against the Commanders, or 3 out of 4 within 40. I think there's maybe a low 50-yarder in there. But do you think the Chicago Bears should keep Jake Moody as a starting kicker? Issue with Cairo Santos, he doesn't have a strong leg in today's NFL. You need to be able to kick 55 plus with ease. Jake Moody has that, just not as accurate. So we shall see if Cairo gets healthy this week, or if Jake Moody will be playing against the Saints and you just let Cairo heal that quad, because just like Harrison said, he's got a weak leg to start with. So the last thing you want it to have is another limitation being hurt, him as in Cairo Santos that we're talking about. But put your thoughts in the comments, chat. Jake Moody or Cairo Santos kicker competition. Put your thoughts in the comments. What up, Garrett? What up? Yo, chat, I gotta take a leak really quick. Hold up. I gotta take a leak. Jenna says, duh, Bears. Thanks to the 49ers. All right, chat. Let's get back to some Bears Twitter talk here. All right, chat. We talked a little bit about this with Harrison. The NFL trade deadline is in 3 weeks. Don't expect Ryan Poles to sit on his hands, Ben Devine says. Should the Chicago Bears make some trades before the deadline? Before that Commanders game, we're talking about running backs, pass rushers, D-line. After the Commanders game, I don't think the running back is such a need for this season. I think with the reshuffling of the offensive line, that offensive line gelling, the offense continue to develop and grow week in and week out, I think you can build upon this running game. Kyle Monungai got some touches. You even saw Roschon get some reps there. We haven't seen that all season long. So I don't think we should trade for a running back unless someone gets hurt or it's just like a 6th-round pick for some more depth. But the pass rusher, we need to get more help on the defensive line. We're really struggling rushing the quarterback. The rush defense looked pretty solid. Can we build upon that? That's the biggest question. So can we rush the quarterback? That's what I want. Trey Hendrickson might be pricey in terms of a little bit of draft capital and salary cap hit. Max Crosby is a dream. Is a dream trade, but there's got to be some other tier 2, tier 3 defensive linemen, defensive tackles, or edge rushers that we could try to trade for. Maybe someone on that Giants defense if they don't continue to win. But put your thoughts in the comments. Should the Bears make some trades? Will the Bears make some trades? Do you want the Bears to make some trades? And who are you thinking about? Put your thoughts in the comments. Eldrick says, the Bears, what's the deal with DJ Moore? He got hurt, brother. He had to stay in the hospital an extra night. He didn't travel back with the team just for precautionary, I think, flare up while you fly, some stuff like that. I think it's a hip. I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's a hip. I don't know. But hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's able to play it, but maybe not necessarily force it. You know, we can get by the Saints without DJ Moore. That would be nice. Let him get an extra week of rest, but chat, let's talk about Jonah Jackson. We always give players their flowers when it's due. We always provide some constructive criticism when it's due, like we did with Jonah Jackson the first couple weeks of the season. But he has really found his groove towards the last few games here with the Chicago Bears. Ryan Poles traded a 4th-round pick, a former Ben Johnson offensive lineman. He's allowed 0 sacks, 0 hits, 9 hurries. 5 came in game 1. Like we talked about, first couple games of the season, he didn't look too great. Looks like he's back to his Pro Bowl form when Ben Johnson was his OC in Detroit. Appreciate the stat line here, Nick, from Just Another Year Chicago Bears. But put your thoughts in the comments about Jonah Jackson so far. That first game, you know, we criticized him a little bit first couple games because of the penalties, and he got cooked pretty much against the Vikings. But right now he's grooving. Offensive line is gelling, chat. We reshuffled a little bit of things with taking Braxton Jones out, putting Theo Benedict in. Delnon Wright playing a little bit of hurt, but he looked like a dog against the Commanders. One of the most important things that we needed to address for 3 years has been this offensive line. Have we finally found that right guard, the Nate Davis experience, the Ryan Bates experience? Super happy he's playing well. Let's continue building upon this. But put your thoughts in the comments about Jonah Jackson. Offensive line looked real good against the Commanders, chat. Real good. We need to continue protecting Caleb Williams and creating holes for DeAndre Swift. But put your thoughts in the comments, chat. Can't get pass rusher with cap space we have, do we? Probably not anyone tier 1 or tier... I'm sure there's someone we can get creative with and move some things around, but yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But hopefully we can get someone, just a little bit of help, you know? We get Austin Booker off at injured reserve, so let's see what he can do, but... Yeah. Hopefully nothing serious, Keith. I didn't know it was like a back or groin or hip. Where did I hear hip from somebody else? I must be thinking about a different player. But yeah, groin, that sounds a little bit more familiar. That's a fact, Keith. Appreciate the update there. This whole Troy Aikman stuff is just kind of getting a little annoying, chat. I could care less about it. Obviously, Chicago Bears fans get a little sensitive when it's their quarterback or their team. Been there, done that, still like that. But we don't have the commentary all the way up during the live streams, like I mentioned a few different times. I don't want to get copyright stricken on YouTube if the audio comes through on my mic. But Chicago social media, Chicago Bears Twitter is making a whole big deal about Troy Aikman's excitement for Caleb Williams, or calling kind of a biased game towards Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. It's whatever. He's not the first national media person to shit on Caleb. Won't be the first, won't be the last. We hear it all the time with Chris Canty. The Herd show with that backup guy, Colin Coward's buddy there. I'm not really having certain feelings about this. I could care less. It really doesn't matter for me, but apparently Chicago Bears social media is a little salty about it. And yeah, you want kind of a fair commentary from a national media on Monday Night Football, but I didn't really notice anything crazy. But put your thoughts in the comments chat. How do you feel about the Troy Aikman comments? Is Bears Twitter, Bears social media just looking something to fight about? Put your thoughts in the comments. I could care less. I didn't even really notice it, to be honest. No talked and asked some questions about the NFC North. Chat, here's the current NFC North standings after week 6. You got the Packers at 3-1-1. You got the Lions at 4-2. You got the Vikings at 3-2, and you got the Chicago Bears at 3-2. How many teams from the NFC North will make the playoffs? Don't sleep on the NFC West. They got some teams with the Seahawks, the Rams, and the 49ers and the Hunt. The NFC East, that's a little bit more of a balanced division so far. You got the Eagles kind of trying to figure out some shit. You got the Giants, couple games that they won since Jackson Dart has started. Got the Cowboys with a shitty defense, and then you got the Commanders. The NFC South, you got the Falcons, you got the Bucks, you got the Panthers. So the NFC playoff picture is going to be really interesting. Very strong conference, and then this division is really strong. The only thing that is not in the Chicago Bears' favor with these standings is our record in the division. Those first 2 games of the season really cooked us, which is why I was so pissed that we couldn't beat the Minnesota Vikings, because we're 0-2 in the division right now. So we got to pretty much win out the rest of the division. Worst case scenario, go 3-3 in the division, but also hope for these other teams in the division to take some L's and other teams in other divisions to take some L's, the way the NFC conference is going as a whole. But put your thoughts in the comments. How are we feeling about the NFC North? Who wins this division? How many teams from the NFC North will make the playoffs? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, chat. I like the hate get to play underdog. That's a fact, man. I appreciate that follow or that like, Maya. I must have missed a noti. I think it was a like. Mason Taylor out on the rest of the season, bro. If those are your tight end options, you might have to just keep streaming tight ends. I would go with Otten, considering Fields can't throw the ball, but that's just me. Cardinal spread. Who are they playing against, and what's the spread, brother? I don't know. Bet Shay's under point line season opener. We haven't looked at any NBA bets. I don't even know. Is the NBA regular season started? It started last night, right? The Bulls played against the Bucks or something. A few more topics, chat, and then we will rip some packs. Anyone interested in ripping packs? Chat, let's talk about DeAndre Swift against the Washington Commanders. Give DeAndre Swift his flowers. He's been the topic of conversation throughout pretty much the offseason and the first few weeks of this Chicago Bears season, saying the Bears need to trade for a running back. Swift is not a RB1. The Chicago Bears need to upgrade their running back room. This man had himself a day against the Washington Commanders. He was playing physical. He was finding holes. He was breaking tackles, and he was creating plays for this team to win. One of the major reasons why this Bears team got some momentum on the offense, that 55-yard touchdown reception where he brought it to the house, that was impressive. Broke some tackles, got that yard after the catch. If it wasn't for Swift, we might have not won that game. So give this man his flowers. 67 receiving yards, 108 rush yards, 1 touchdown. This man had himself a day. That offensive line, you got to give credit to them. Also, Darnell Wright, Theo Benedict. I don't know if that was the answer, just replacing Braxton Jones, but I want to continue seeing consistency and building upon this momentum from the offensive line and DeAndre Swift with the next stretch of games that we have against very suspect defense, that he could repeat these types of performances. Because I don't think we need to invest in a running back before the trade deadline unless it's injury or just some RB2 or 3 to add some more depth. But DeAndre Swift continue playing like this, we can get through the season with this running back room. And the offensive line continue to create opportunities for him like they did against the Commanders. But put your thoughts in the comments. Give DeAndre Swift his flowers. Us on this platform and other Chicago Bears social media platforms have been saying how much we need a better running back. The truth still might be there with that comment, but as of right now, he had himself a day against the Commanders and was a key part to why we won that game. Detroit win Chicago and Packers meet in the playoffs. Interesting, DBA. I'm not opposed. Getting a Packers-Bears playoff game, I'd be hyped for it. You know what's crazy? We haven't even reached our potential yet, and we still winning games. That's a fact, Kendall. I think we know what our ceiling is for this defense. We're gonna get takeaways. I think that's the only thing that's gonna keep this defensive line. If we don't get help on the defensive line to pressure the quarterback, stopping the run, I want to see that consistently. We saw against the Commanders, but we didn't see it the first 4 weeks of the season. So if we can continue building upon stopping the run, I think the defense, we know its ceiling. There's nothing else I don't think that can really get better from the defense. Just continue the takeaways, try to continue stopping the run, and hoping that we can get a couple sacks a game. But this offense, just like Kendall says, is like we haven't even reached the full potential of the offense, chat. We haven't even reached the full potential of this offense. We're still getting penalties, chat. We're still getting penalties. Caleb is still kind of inconsistent a little bit. Relax, Bears fans. That's like not in a terrible way. Like against the Commanders on paper, he didn't have a great game. Missed a couple passes, but if he continues to be more consistent, continues improving his accuracy, if this offensive line continues to gel and improving, this run game continues to building upon that, then we get more of the pass catchers involved. Like Rome Odunze didn't have the best day, but like Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, Zacchaeus, making some of those key catches that we need him to make. This offense still has so much more room to improve and put production on the field that it's scary where this offense could potentially be in a couple of weeks. Put your thoughts in the comments, chat. This offense has not even reached its full potential, and we're winning games now. Just imagine, chat, this offense reaches that next tier of consistency and being able to put more results on the field, converting, bringing takeaways into points, and not 3 points, but 6 points. I'm super excited for that, chat. Super excited for this, where the offense still has growth to improve. I saw this after the game. It was the next morning. It's like, per Adam Schefter, the refs just called a 15-yard penalty on the... I don't even want to talk about... We won. Don't even want to cry about spilt milk, but it's crazy. Chat, let's talk about this. The biggest concern I had going into that Commanders game, the biggest concern for this defense all season long has been stopping the run. And I was so scared that we wouldn't be able to stop the Washington Commanders run game, who's top 3 in the league at running the football. I thought that would cost us the game against the Washington Commanders, but something changed on that defense. Dennis Allen, props to Dennis Allen, that defensive line, the linebackers, TJ Edwards coming back, for being able to limit the Washington Commanders in their run game, causing Bill Krosky Merritt to fumble a couple of times. That was a number 1 ranked rush offense, and we held them to 64 yards, and we were ranked the 32nd run defense over the last 4 games. This coaching staff, this team, it's really something different. The culture change and the adjustments that this coaching staff does make in real game action and then week after week is what we've been needing from a Chicago Bears coaching staff and head coach ever since Lovie Smith at the latest. So the fact that we were able to stop the run gets me super excited. Now we need to build upon this momentum against the Saints, stop the Saints run game. Let's see if we can pressure the quarterback, which is the other red flag for this defense, and we can continue heading in the right direction and really, really winning games in a more comfortable manner. But we'll take any type of win. But the fact that our rush defense held the number 1 ranked rush offense in the league to 64 yards after being ranked 32nd last in the league is a crazy stat line and something I'm looking forward to them to continue building on and improving. Put your thoughts in the comments, chat. You know what's crazy? Yeah, I don't want to talk about the illegal formation. This shit was bullshit, chat. Like, that should have been a Rome Odunze touchdown. Not even gonna cap, but it's whatever. There's a few more talking points, chat, I want to talk about here. Let's talk about Theo Benedict, chat. Let's talk about Theo Benedict. First of all, let's give this man a congratulations. Give him his flowers. He came from Canada, chat. He had a season-ending injury last year, I believe. Probably also wasn't coached and developed right throughout that time. But the Canadian Eagle that we saw on Hard Knocks, he replaced Braxton Jones. Whether he's a long-term solution or not, when he was given an opportunity to play and prove himself, he did that. So we've been talking about replacing a left tackle for a couple of years now. Braxton Jones, he hit a ceiling, 5th-round pick. Not a bad player for a 5th-round pick, but not someone that you want protecting your quarterback on this blind side on the left tackle full-time, long-term. But let's give him his flowers. He made the 53-man roster this year. Ben Johnson and this offensive line staff must really know how to identify offensive line, and I'm hoping that he can continue building upon the success he had against the Commanders. He was brawling, Chad. If you see the replays live Monday night, or if you're just watching some of the film, he was brawling. I don't know how many sacks Caleb took. I think it was about 3. I don't know who they came from, not pointing any fingers, but Theo Benedict balled out. The run game was a lot better. There's only a couple things that changed. Darnell Wright coming back, and Theo Benedict replacing Braxton Jones. So give Theo Benedict his flowers. This man balled out. Put your thoughts in the comments. Hopefully, just hopefully, Theo Benedict can continue playing like this and continue growing and developing on this offensive line. That dad synergy, bear down, baby. We need Josh Simmons. Who we trading? Josh Simmons. That would be a nice pickup there, Hearts. Big improvement on the running game. That's a fact, Dad Synergy. That is a fact. Big improvement in the running game. Hopefully we can continue that momentum against the Saints. I don't want to watch this 2-minute monologue by Kyle Brandt. Love him, but we don't have the time for that. Couple more things here, chat. Not sure if you notice, but the Chicago Bears are second in the league in defensive takeaways. Dennis Allen has his Bears defense playing opportunistic all season long. If we're not going to be able to rush the quarterback, if we're not going to be able to stop the run, we did against the Commanders, but prior to that, we need takeaways. And this defense is kind of accredited for 2 big wins over the last couple stretch here, right? They had a bunch of interceptions against Geno Smith and the Raiders that put us in a position to win. And then they had a couple key takeaways against the Commanders. Those fumbles, that early Brisker interception, those are so important for this team to win. This team is so well coached right now, chat. I'm freaking so excited about that. The fact that we're all playing as one cohesive team, chat. Like the defense plays for the offense plays for the defense, the special teams plays for the whole team when we need game winners, right? We have 12 takeaways. You got the Jaguars on this list, you got the Steelers on this list, and the Rams on this list. All great company. I appreciate that, like Hearts. All teams that are 4-1. I think the Jaguars are 4-1 or 4-2. The Steelers are 4-1, 4-2, and the Rams are 4-1, 4-2. I don't know their schedule at the top of my head. Too far into the season at this point, but the fact that we're getting takeaways like interceptions and stuff is interesting, Chet, because usually you get that when you pressure the quarterback, right? But these are just pretty much coverage interceptions. We can't pressure the quarterback. So the fact that we're getting multiple takeaways, interceptions in the game, we're kind of compensating for areas on this defense that are lacking is exciting. That means we still have areas to improve. If we can continue stopping the run, that's one less weakness on this defense. And if we can bring someone to help pass to rush the quarterback, whether it's Austin Booker that's going to help solve that problem, or we sign or trade somebody, don't know where the answer to that's going to be this offseason. This season, we might just have to continue getting creative, blitzing the quarterback. But put your thoughts in the comments. The Bears are second in the league in defensive takeaways. That's exciting. A little bit 2018 Chicago Bears defense vibe. Put your thoughts in the comments. What I'd like to see is one of these return to the house. That'd be nice. Put your thoughts in the comments, chat. Chat, let's talk about this. Is the last point before we rip some packs. Chat, this is the Chicago Bears' next 4 games. The Saints, the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Giants. All winnable games. Don't want to look too far ahead. We need to beat the Saints. We'll know if this team is different than prior Chicago Bears regimes if we beat the Saints. Sometimes, you know, if the Bears are in a position like this, they're favored. They got some momentum. They'll be the same old Chicago Bears, and they'll lose a game that they're supposed to win. It's going to happen at some point in the season, but hopefully it's not against the Saints while we have this momentum. An easy home conference win. They've been playing hard, the Saints. The Saints have been playing hard. It's not no walkover team that you're going to get an easy dub, but it's a team, a very winnable matchup that the Chicago Bears should win and need to win to stay relevant in this NFC North race. So we play the Saints at home. We need to get that. Don't be the same old Bears and lose this game. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Then we have the Ravens on the road. Lamar is probably going to be back at this game, so that might be an L. Then we got the Bengals. Who knows how Joe Flacco is going to be clicking after a couple of weeks. Hopefully he doesn't get one on us. I'll be actually at that game. That's at Cincinnati. And then we play the Giants in Chicago. Giants don't walk over either. Their defense is solid. Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo have been playing well. So if our run defense is going to be better, it better be throughout the course of these next few games here. But put your thoughts in the comments. How many games do the Chicago Bears win out of these next 4? But the Bears go 7-2, 6-3. 6-3 at a worst. I think we lose that Ravens game if Lamar is playing for sure. Hopefully not, but just kind of being realistic. Put your thoughts in the comments, chat. How many games will the Bears win in this next 4 games? Who we trading for? We need some pass rush to help Sweat. I don't know. That's the question. I don't know who's available, what draft capital, what cap space is going to take a hit on us. But with Jeffrey Simmons could be an option there, Hearts. I've heard some rumors about that also. That would be sick. Bear down Irving says, I appreciate you tuning in. If anyone knows the Saints good, it will be Dennis Allen. That's a fact, Hearts. Let's just beat the Saints. No need to talk about the 4 games. Agree. I respect you, Dad. Synergy, yeah, 100%. Dennis Allen will be the key for that game. He knows that team. Hopefully 3-1, Dad. 3-1. I'm not mad about that. Justin Jefferson for Debo. Enrico, which side? Brother, do not trade away Justin Jefferson, my guy. Rico's gonna be on a split carry when Hubbard's healthy. All right, chat. We are going to rip some packs, I think. I need to make some YouTube videos of ripping packs. So let me get that set up. Anyone here collects rip sports cards or anything like that? Anyone in the chat rip Pokemon or sports cards? Magic cards for me, man. Sorry. Well, if you know anything, I'm going to rip chat. I got to make a YouTube video where we're ripping Optic till we hit a downtown. This is 2022. 2022, they have some cool downtowns. I'm not sure if you know anything about downtowns, but we're going to transition to that here shortly. Let me get everything set up to do so. Usually we also rip some Pokemon too, but today is just a $50 box. This cost me $50 at a card show. Retail, this thing's like 30. But we got to get those downtown hits, chat. I appreciate everyone who has tuned into the stream, chat. Just a friendly reminder, we'll be live for the Saints versus Bears watch party 30 minutes before kickoff. If you don't know what our live stream watch parties are, it's a vibe, chat. It is a vibe. We have fun. We watch the game. We cheer on the game. We talk about our fantasy, our bets. So hopefully you guys can get into our weekly live streams, which are a lot of fun. And that will be this Sunday against the Saints. I appreciate you, Dad. I appreciate that follow. Hopefully you can join us during the watch parties. Follow the TikTok, the IG. We're always live for those. Hey, Hart, I appreciate that follow. I appreciate the follows, guys. I appreciate all the love and support. Hey, I appreciate the Let Him Cook gift, Dad. Synergy, I appreciate that. Should I start Rico or Rashad White? Hey, Kaylee, I appreciate that follow also. You got to kind of wait a little bit towards the end of the week. Is Bucky Irvin playing, or Bucky Irvin's listed as out, and is Hubbard playing? I know Rico will still get his touches now, but I don't know if Hey, I appreciate that follow on the purple app there, Spiral. Um, 3 hours ago. My apologies. However, you're gonna have to wait a little bit later in the week, Kaylee, because is Bucky listed as out already? And is Chuba Hubbard gonna play? If Chuba Hubbard's out, definitely put Rico in. But also, what are their matchups? Who are they playing? All right, chat. Let me get this set up a little bit here. Let me get this set up a little bit here. Don't forget to hit that like button, chat. Give us a little last algorithm boost before we start this episode. I need an intern. An intern. Chat, I'm so excited to rip this box. So excited to rip this box. Rico plays Detroit, and I don't know. You're gonna have to wait a little bit later in the week, Haley. You're gonna have to wait a little bit later in the week for those injury updates. Is Bucky listed as out already? Start 2. Dobbs, Shaheed, Cam. Who's KAM? Is it PPR? Yes. Are you in a deep league, or is your team just trash, brother? All right, chat. Let me switch into my Planet Euphoria shirt. As always. Oh no, I got a different code. You can't even use that, brother. Red on card break. Okay. Okay. Herbert, Stroud, or Purdy? Who are they playing? I want to say Herbert there, Kyle. All right, chat. Let me. Did you talk with Harrison? Yes, we did. Z Slayer, we did talk to Harrison, but don't worry. We'll have the edited podcast in video and audio form up by tomorrow. We'll be up by tomorrow and posting clips all over our socials. So if you want to follow us on IG or the TikTok, though, and even on the YouTube, I'll have the edited version audio and video posted tomorrow. I'll post it on my story with all the links, and then we'll post clips all the way up leading to the Saints game. But I do appreciate you tuning in. Hope you drop a follow. We have a live stream watch party on Sunday for the Saints game, and we have a lot of fun Bears content. So I appreciate you tuning in, Z Slayer. Appreciate the love and support. Right now, I'm going to quickly transition, change my shirt for a YouTube video. We are going to rip 2022 Optic, ripping down Optic till I pull it downtown. Will Rico go off again? I don't know. It depends if Hubbard's playing. If Hubbard's playing, he's going to get 15 touches taken away from him. If not, he could always go off. He's a boss. All right, chat. I hope you guys enjoy this rip, my friends. What's going on, guys? It's another episode of Bear Down Rips. Today is a episode for let's recut that. That was cheeks, chat. That was cheeks. This is for like a YouTube video, chat, so I gotta like lock in. What's going on, guys? It's another episode of Bear Down Rips, and this is where we haven't done one of these in a while. We're so cooked, chat. We're so cooked. What's going on, guys? This is another episode of Bear Down Collects, and this is where we're ripping Optic until we pull a downtown. I got a special Optic, 2022 Optic Blaster. I believe we're like on episode 6 of this series. I don't know the cost amount. I think we're down a couple $100. They'll be at the top right corner. of this video, along with the exact episode number. I think we're on episode 6 of Ripping Optic till we pull a downtown. So hopefully we can pull a downtown here. 2022 has some really cool downtowns. I don't even remember who's in this rookie class, if we even get a good rookie. But we're looking for those downtowns, obviously. Let's see if we get one here. All right, chat. We're just doing a 2022 blaster. I'm excited. This was 50 bucks. Added to the cost in the corner. This was 50 bucks. In the blaster, we get 6 packs. I'm nervous. I've been skunking on a lot of card breaks between Pokemon and sports. So POV, as we say on stream chat. Someone comment their favorite 2022. Ooh. Their favorite 2022 downtown chat. I've seen some cool ones. AJ Brown, Dak Prescott, Michael Pittman on the silver, and Cheeks. Pack number 2. Pack number 2, chat. Ooh. All right. Kyle Pitts. I don't even know who's it. Oh, we got a Brock Purdy, the rookies. That's not bad. Ingram. Like, I don't even remember this draft class, chat. Who's in the 2022 draft class? Out of downtown. Amon-Ra. Corey Davis. Ooh, a Rashad White on the purple. Not terrible. And Haskins, who is now on the Chargers. 3 more packs, chat. POV. Got a silver. Boom. Matthew Stafford on the silver. And Logan Hall. 2 more packs. $50 down the drain. Who knows how long this episode will go for, chat. Matt Ryan. Kenny Pickett. 2 years ago, this would have been a hot one. 2 years ago, that would have been a hot one to pull. All right. Nope. I think the 2022 are lasers. Ooh, James Cook? All right, so he's in that draft class. Jerome Bettis Retro Series. GG's. Another episode where we haven't pulled a downtown. I think that was episode 6. Look at the exact episode count in the post description and the total cost in the corner. But this episode is sponsored by Planet Euphoria. New code, bigger discount. Use code BEARDOWN25 at checkout for 25% off. They have the coolest, the freshest, the most comfortable graphic tees in the game. I got my Roma Dunze. They have Pokemon, NFL, MLB, soccer, NBA, you name it, they got it. All teams, all players, Planet Euphoria. The link is in the post description. Use code BEARDOWN25 at checkout for 25% off. Until next time, we still haven't hit a downtown after 6 episodes. I think it's 6 episodes. I love y'all. Bear down. Peace. Devin says Dub Bears. Let's go, baby. I might rip this one, chat. I might rip this one next for a video. All right, chat, I gotta do one more episode to record. What's going on, guys? This is another episode of Bear Down Rips, where I'm ripping Optic until I pull a downtown. I don't even know what episode we're at this point. The cost is in the top right corner. I believe this is our 7th episode of ripping Optic until we pull a downtown. Before we get started, this episode is sponsored by our friends at Planet Euphoria. They have the sickest, the most comfortable, the freshest graphic tees in the game. I'm repping my Roma Dunze one right now. They have NFL, NBA, MLB, soccer, Pokemon, you name it, they got it. WWE, use code TheBears, use code BearDown25 at checkout for 25% off. New code, bigger discount. The link to their website is in the post description. Now, we are going to rip this 2023 Optic Blaster. This cost me about $50. I'm about $300-$400 in the hole. That top right corner will tell you the exact cost. I don't remember at the top of my head, but hopefully we can pull a downtown here. 2023 class. So this is the CJ Stroud, the Bryce Young class. I know there's a Brock Purdy. There's a Puka downtown. Forgot some of the others in 2023. But hopefully we can get lucky and end this very, very expensive season. So this was $50 hairs. This was $50 hairs, chat. We have 6 packs. Oh no, we need that for the little backdrop in the video. Put that there. Come on, give me a downtown, chat. How are these things so hard to pull? I see everyone post. I ripped the downtown. Oh my god, I ripped the kaboom. But no, your boy can never get any freaking luck. But POV. Fred Taylor. Anthony Richardson, look at that. 2 years ago, that would have been a hot card. At least a parallel. Alright, chat. Chris Collinsworth. Jahmyr Gibbs. You guys know that I ripped $500 worth of fat packs of this class? Ooh. Play action Patrick Mahomes silver. Is that a case hit? We're gonna have to look that one up, chat. We're gonna have to look that one up. That's a sick one. Won't complain. I don't know if it's $55 worth how much I paid for this box, but that is a cool one for sure. Is that a Bijan? Am I predicting a Bijan? Jake Moody! Bears legend, Jake Moody. All right. 3 more packs, chat. 3 more packs. POV. POV, chat. The Keandre Miller. The amount of times that I've pulled the Keandre Miller. Miles Murphy. Jake Heiner on the silver. That would have been nice if it was a CJ Stroud or something. But 2 packs left, chat. 2 packs left. At this point, should have just bought the downtown, but that's no fun. Tony Romo. Jaleel, what the heck? Josh Downs. Last pack magic. Last pack magic, chat. Silver. Waste of $50, chat. Waste of $50. Kyler Murray silver. All right, chat. Looks like this series is going to continue going on. Ripping Optic till I pull a downtown. Put your thoughts in the comments. Have you hit a downtown? Have you hit a downtown from the 2023 Optic? I love y'all. Bear down. Peace. All right, chat. I just had to get those YouTube videos out the way for us. I appreciate everyone tuning into the stream today, chat. Appreciate everyone tuning into the stream today. They said Hubbard's back at practice. Yeah. We'll see. It's a calf injury for Hubbard, so they might not rush him, especially with Rico playing the way he is. Devin says, "Duh, Bears, drop Herbert for Dak." How do you have Dak, a free agent in your league, brother? Bears. All right, chat. I appreciate the love and support today. Appreciate the love and support 100%. We will be live for our Bears versus Saints watch party, chat. Bears versus Saints. Follow the IGs, the TikToks. I hope to see you guys in this stream Sunday. I love y'all. Bear down. Peace.